That is something they talked about in the pre-match talk, because there can't be coincidence that within just 10 minutes, it's the second time that they're trying to play the ball in behind right away.
It's the kind of detail that coaches pick up in all of that analysis that they do. Simakon required to make the challenge, and that's exactly what he does.
Excellent battles out there already. Davies with all his pace, probably the quickest player in the entire league, up there with Adeyemi maybe. And Simakon, he's a rock, so solid in defense.
Bayern third when it comes to our corner threat metric. They've already scored 3 goals in the league this season from corners, 5 from dead ball situations in all. Kimmich to deliver, goes short. Changing the angle of delivery, and Davies didn't really catch it, but that worked out for Bayern. Davies had the pocket of space that he wanted, didn't really get hold of the shot, and now suddenly Xavi on the charge, and that's loose from Ulreich, and a big problem here, and it's going to go wide. What a mess that was. Sven Ulreich got himself in all kinds of trouble, and Leipzig couldn't take advantage.
I think they were super lucky here, Bayern, that it was on Forsberg's left foot. Still, you'd expect him with his technical abilities to put that away.
Does he have time to get that onto his right foot and try and lift that over Ulreich?
Maybe. I still think it's the right decision to try and score directly. It's just, it was that little bit more difficult on his weaker foot. Well, like I said, at this level, you'd still expect him to put it away.
Ulreich has been very solid so far this season, but that was anything but. It's difficult to know what he was actually trying to do there, Thomas.
I didn't just want to clear the ball, just kick it anywhere. He wanted to keep possession, but completely misplaced the pass. What's interesting, what we just saw, Bayern refused to drop back with the back line. And we saw Thomas Tuchel earlier. He was telling his guys to push up. It seems like he wants his back line to play very high up the field and make midfield compact that way.
It's been a big feature of their play, actually, in recent games. They've been prepared to take those risks, relying on the fact that Kim and Upamecano can get back there, as we see the wonderful record of Marco Rose since taking over RB Leipzig. 2.1 points per game, the best of any Leipzig coach at this level. He's taken the same number of points as Bayern over the last 34 games. And Thomas Tuchel, 2.3 points per game as Bayern coach, and won the Bundesliga title for the first time as a coach last season. Formerly the coach of Mainz and Borussia Dortmund. Did win the DFB Pokal with Dortmund. We are seeing a few times as well, Thomas, we're seeing Simakon get dragged out to deal with Davies occasionally, and we know that as somebody who's a converted right back, he can play that role very well. He defends in those wide areas very well, but is that a concern for Leipzig if Davies is pulling him slightly out of position?
Well, it can be, but I think they're doing it quite well, because there's a constant interchange of positions with Coman and Davies, and at times you can't keep your structure. Then your centre-half has to be confident to defend one-on-one situations out on the wing. And like you said, he's played there before. He's more than capable. He's quick enough to actually deal with these players in those wide areas.
Somebody who has played that right-back role exceptionally well at times, not just for Leipzig, but when he was in French football with Strasbourg. He's not always the most fluent going forward, but he's a willing runner and a strong runner. And he's David Raum. That was a little bit loose, and Campbell trying to stretch for it. Joshua Kimmich, a former Leipzig player. He was with Leipzig from 2013 to 2015. Quarter of an hour gone in the Topspiel der Woche, as they would call it in Germany, the top game of the week.
Yeah, the situation we talked about before, Davies pushed up high. We can see that the Bayern system seems to be a bit lopsided. It's Leimer that stays back a bit further. And I think they're trying to exploit that left side with Davies and Coman.
Leimer's role's really interesting, Thomas, because he came from Leipzig in the summer on a free transfer as a central midfielder, really, and Thomas Tuchel, through necessity to some extent, has used him as a right-back and seems to be pretty happy with the work he's done there.
Yeah, but he's not a specialist. He's played all right there, but it's not his natural position. He's got the pace, he's good on the ball. Being a natural midfielder, that's one of the perks, but he gets caught out a few times. He doesn't always control the space in behind, and I think it wasn't the smartest thing to do to let Pavard go and Stanisic as well.
Yeah, they are a little thin in that area. Thomas Tuchel has publicly made reference to that he's ahead of Mazraoui at the moment in that particular pecking order. No surprise that Alphonso Davies is the fastest player of the game so far, 35.61 kilometres per hour, and that is a real weapon for Bayern. We've seen that time and time again. Looking for Sané. It's been a good season so far for Leroy Sané. He's got 7 goals for club and country. Got the winner for Germany against France recently. A player that's been working incredibly hard defensively as well. It's not always been the case with Sané in his career, but he's really upped the work rate defensively.
Oh, that's great work from Bayern there. That's what I love, those little triangles, not just kicking the ball long. We've seen at times it can go wrong, but that's how you actually boss a game.
Is that because that's how you play through pressure? That's how you open up those spaces?
I think it's a sign of quality teams that they're able to play through the center, that they're able to find their number 6. If you go wide all the time, yeah, it's less risky, but you limit yourself. And this attack that we're seeing now, the ball into Goretzka, the ball into Musiala, now they're in a central area. This is way more creative.
Here's Upamecano, former Leipzig defender. For Kim, who won the Serie A title with Napoli last season. There was a bit of muscle flexing from Bayern to bring him in because there were lots of Premier League clubs interested in Kim. And what we haven't seen so far, really, is Leipzig generate any kind of attacking momentum in the game.
Not at all. They're happy to just be compact. They sort of awaiting Bayern roughly around the halfway line. They've got good distances in between one another, and so far it works for them.
Saw them get that early goal in the Super Cup through Dani Olmo, and then they were able to lie in wait for Bayern to some extent.
But talking about the centre halves, it's interesting to see what kind of players Bayern are bringing in now. They're really looking for those out-and-out defenders. The first job is defending. In the past, they had players like Mats Hummels, Jerome Boateng, Alaba. They were excellent in build-up. These guys right now, they don't have that level. But they're very, very aggressive, very quick, very good against the ball. I guess it's always a bit of a trade-off.
See the average positions so far, and maybe an opportunity on the breakaway here. Loris Openda strikes for Leipzig. Bayern have bossed the ball, have played on the front foot, but they have been caught. Loris Openda does what he's been doing all season so far. His 4th league goal of the campaign already, and it is Leipzig who strike first.
So it really pays off that they brought in Paulsen. Ooh, there's a suspicion of offside. But what I love is how he drags the ball away from Kim, runs slightly to his left, and doesn't allow Kim back in. That's how he gets the shot away. Gets a bit lucky. There's a bit of a deflection. But I still have a few question marks around that goal. I want to see the offside line first.
Schlager, who released him, and Loris Openda, who scored 21 goals in all competitions for Lens last season, has just carried on where he left off at the end of last season. That deflection off Kim was critical. And Loris Openda's goal stands, and RB Leipzig once again find themselves leading a game against Bayern München. talked about the finish, Thomas. How good was the ball from Schlager?
It was so well timed. And also the work from Poulsen. We talked about Harry Kane, how good he's at shielding the ball, bringing others into play. It was a throw-in down the line, basically. He had to make sure that he holds on to the ball, and it's not easy, you know, with those big centre-halves right in your back, and he did so well slaying the ball off to Schlager, who was facing Bayern's goal, and then perfectly timed ball, and a really smart run by Openda, because Kim is very, very quick, and he always gets his body back in and even makes contact, but he couldn't really block the shot.
He'd already scored goals. Openda against Leverkusen, against Augsburg, against Stuttgart. Still only 23, so a lot of room to develop and grow. He is some player.
Yeah, you mentioned the Leverkusen game. That's the one game they lost this season, and there's no shame in losing to Leverkusen away from home, and it was the first day of the season, but ever since they won the cup game, they won away from home in the Champions League against Young Boys Bern. So despite losing all those players, we're talking about Laimer, Nkunku, Szoboszlai, Guardiol, it's incredible how well they replaced all those guys.
And here they go again with Xavi, who's been one of the best acquisitions from the summer. He's already been involved in 7 Bundesliga goals this season. 3 of them he scored, 4 of them he set up. Here is Davies as Bayern look for a way back in. Coman. Barely mentioned Harry Kane so far. Here's Coman! It was wild in the end, but we've seen him do that time and time again, come in on that right foot and strike a goal. If we take a look at the Leipzig average positions, what do you make of that so far, Thomas? It seems to be a team very well set. There's a real structure there, isn't there?
Yeah, and their focus is primarily on the center of the park. You got 2 wide guys and your 2 fullbacks, but everybody else, at least their starting position, is very, very central. They try to have a numerical advantage in there.
Forsberg. Such an intelligent player, Forsberg. Just trying to slide Openda through again, and it does give you that pace and power in behind Openda. And he's got the quality to go with it. He's not just an athlete.
But that's where Leipzig need to be better. There was a sloppy, a cheap giveaway. There was a huge chance for them to break again and to punish Bayern again.
Kimmich with the foul. We've talked about how good Leipzig's goal was from their point of view. What could Bayern have done better? How were they caught out, do you think?
Well, it's difficult to say because it was played extremely well by Leipzig. It's sometimes not possible to stop the layoff. That Poulsen was really good at holding onto the ball, but at least you got to identify the danger a little bit earlier. They wanted to play a very high line, but that leaves you exposed. There's so much space in behind, and you need to be more alert to the situation. The center halves need to drop that a little bit earlier.
This is the Bundesliga's tactical feed, hence the wide-angle camera, so you can see how the game develops in terms of the shape of the teams. Openda, 4 goals and 1 assist in the Bundesliga so far this season. Leipzig's top scorer. He has been outstanding since coming in from Liga. Trying to cause problems once again, and he's managed to get there. Still going, Openda. He's a bit wide though. It's corner, but nothing more than that.
Oh boy, he's quick too. I thought he lost the foot race against Kim and Upamecano, but not only did he get there, he was also strong. It was a shoulder tackle. It's good work by Openda.
Bayern struggling to contain Lois Openda. Talk of informed strikers, they had a real problem dealing with Victor Boniface when they had that 2-2 draw against Bayer Leverkusen. I've very rarely seen Dayot Upamecano bounced around as he was against Boniface. Just a bit of a delay here. The check is over and it will be a corner. David Raum to deliver. struggling, it came to a bender, and it's two. It is Castello who doubles Leipzig's advantage, and they are loving life against Bayern again. Are they heading for a third win against the record champions in 2023? Bayern in bits, it's 2-0.
Well, I was applauding Ulreich before for not making any mistakes, but this one's on him. He completely misjudged the flight of the ball. We all know that Leipzig are overloading the near post area, and everybody was expecting the cross to get into that area. Instead, it was a really long ball, and I think Ulreich had enough time to judge the flight of the ball. This one's completely on him.
Only 20, Castello brought in from Lyon. They hope he will be the next big talent that they can develop. His first goal for the club, and it comes in a massive match. And Bayern, having started the game pretty strongly, find themselves 2-0 down. And now tactically, Thomas, Leipzig, you mentioned, they've been lying in wait, they've been keeping their structure, they've been trying to push Bayern to the fringes. 2-0 up, they kind of have them where they want.
Yeah, it's probably going to be more of the same. There's no reason for Leipzig to change anything. Just make sure that you're really compact in that central area of the park. And then, again, with your creativity and your pace, occasionally hit them on the break again.
Nobody has beaten Bayern 3 times in the same calendar year. 17 years, but that's a big mistake as well from Upamecano. And they look really jittery, Thomas. I mean, we talk about tactics and formations, but sometimes it's those intangibles, isn't it? Like nerves.
Yeah, there's not a real aura of confidence in that Bayern team right now. Before it was Ulreich who misjudged the flight of the ball. This one was really awkward from Upamecano. And you got to say, not only defensively they look vulnerable, but they're not really managing to create a lot. They had this shot from range from Coman. Essentially their best chance was the one early on when they took the quick free kick, that lethal ball played in behind by Harry Kane. But after that, it was pretty comfortable for Leipzig to keep Bayern away from goal.
Since that Super Cup defeat to Leipzig, Bayern have won 6 of their 7 competitive games. They've scored 26 goals across those 7 matches. They beat Manchester United 4-3 in the Champions League. But they are in a hole here against a team that's really becoming something of a bogey team for them. Still a long way to go though. Xavi retaining possession well. He's so good at that. Xavi just has that awareness of what's around him. It's been loose from Glasvik. Here is Upamecano for a Bayern team looking for a handhold. Musiala. There's little pockets of space between the lines where he loves to operate.
It was Musiala in a nutshell there. He's in a closed position, but he gets the turn, and it's a 180 turn. It only takes him 1 touch, and he runs at the defense.
Hustling and harrying Upamecano. It's his 367th Leipzig appearance in all competitions tonight. Yusuf Paulsen, as we see the expected goals figures, and Leipzig, as they have done all season so far, outperforming their XG figure to a big degree. Bayern, as you say, since the big Musiala chance, which was a massive opportunity, haven't really caused too much of a problem.
And we talked about Bayern's potential weaknesses in defense. It looked like they were solid against lesser sides in the Bundesliga, but when you look at Leverkusen, Man United, even Leipzig in the Super Cup at home, they conceded 3 against Man United, they conceded 2 against Leverkusen, they're conceding 2 tonight, and the game is far from over. So it seems like as soon as teams have actually some pace and creativity, they're still able to hurt Bayern.
Bayern wanted a free kick at one end and didn't get it. Now Forsberg as he tries to break Wins the free kick and just releases a bit of pressure. Conrad Lima doing an old friend no favours there. Look at that central midfield area, Campbell and Schlager. And they're two players that know how to be physical, aren't they? And they know how to disrupt play at the heart of midfield.
Yeah, you talked about Kevin Campbell being very intelligent even when it comes to committing fouls. It's a bit cynical at times, but it's what your team needs in certain situations. You stop the opposition's counter-attack. You give everybody a chance to regroup behind the ball. It's just a very, very street-smart kid.
And never did Fernandinho any harm at Manchester City, as I seem to recall. That's a lovely turn by Coman. Trying to get Harry Kane involved, who's been very much outside the game with his nose pressed up against the glass. Here is Lima. Sané to Goretzka. Bayern München, the champions, with work to do as Upamecano looks for Lima. There's a real energy about Leipzig, and that's transmitted to the fans so far. Bayern went into this one knowing that a win would take them top. Neither of these teams were in the top three going into this game. Such has been the start made by Leverkusen, Dortmund, and even Stuttgart. What again today?
I just love Costello's front foot defending there. He's so eager to jump at the ball. He was anticipating the ball into Kane, and he got it right in front of him.
Know each other well. Costello and Simon have played together at youth level for France. Good friends away from the fields. He's Upamecano. Sané. With the give and go. That was a little bit awkward, but he got the job done. Musiala. He ran out of room pretty quickly, and having defended solidly once, Ram got up and did it again. This defensive effort so far from Leipzig has been pretty impressive. Talking earlier about that shot efficiency. See there Openda being played on by Kim. And you look at that, the differential of plus 7.17 above their XG. That is stunning.
That is just super efficient. I'm pretty sure they're not going to keep it up for the entire season. But if you want to be Bayern, you better be very efficient.
Well, they were in the Super Cup, and they have been so far tonight. It just continues this sense of forward momentum under Marco Rose, who is a native of Leipzig. Came in to replace Domenico Tedesco after he picked up just 5 points from the first 5 match days of last season. And you look at the last couple of campaigns, they have made false starts. It was Jesse Marsch a couple of seasons ago. Tedesco had come in to replace him, led the team to cup success. Leipzig at it from the get-go this season, very much announcing themselves as a title contender. And of course there is plenty of this game still to go as we tick towards the final 10 minutes of this first half. You're watching the Bundesliga's tactical feeds. Different way to watch the game, hence the wide camera angle. I think you're enjoying the coverage so far. Here is Musiala. So good in those tight areas, so strong as well. Something he's really worked on, that ability to play through contact. He used to watch lots of videos of Diego Maradona, Lionel Messi, how they did it. Always being kicked, always being pressured. They still found a way to play. He took inspiration from that. Here's Sané. And to go all the way across from right to left. Kimmich. Lima. No way through. And away by Schlager.
Well, that's playing with fire from Leipzig's perspective. They're being pushed back further and further. And if you allow Bayern to combine around the edge of the box, then sooner or later you're going to be in serious trouble.
Leipzig have gone over a month without conceding a Bundesliga goal. They've kept 3 straight clean sheets in the league. was threatened early on in this game, but Janis Blasvik with a very important save to deny Jamal Musiala. Foul there from Schlager.
That's one of those clever fouls. You can't let Kimmich get away in that situation. He did get the turn in, and it was just necessary from a holding midfielder like Xaver Schlager to stop him right there.
Here's Sané. Opening up the space on that left foot. Can he get the shot away? They've stuck to him like glue, but he's still going. And in the end, there were just too many hurdles to leap, and he gives away the free kick. And that's the kind of diligent defending we've seen from Leipzig so far.
And what you said about Musiala, the challenge of competing physically, is also true for Xavi. He identified that for himself too, and we saw it early on. It's a huge challenge to play Bundesliga when you're not a heavyweight, and those creative guys, they still need to be able to battle really, really hard.
See there with Leipzig, the attacking zones. They have played down the left a fair bit. David Ram is fairly attack-minded from left back, but they've mixed it up a fair bit so far.
Well, to be completely honest with you, I think they haven't attacked that much at all.
Yeah, slim pickings to choose from, yeah. That's true, but that's exactly what they did. Of course, in the Super Cup to great effects. Harry Kane with the sore one. Barely mentioned him so far, Thomas. It's been very difficult to get him into the game.
No, the game's being played far away from Harry Kane so far.
Yellow cards he's shown, so we saw one of his own making. As he caught Simakon. Maybe that's just a sign of frustration that he's just on the periphery of this game, and talks in the build-up to the game about his all-round threat, the fact he scores goals and makes goals. He did create that early chance for Musiala, but since then it's been tough going for him. His first Bundesliga yellow card.
But he's already had his moment of brilliance, and what I love about him is how he disguises his shots and passes.
Swift work from Kim. Here's Upamecano.
Bayern are really good at picking, Leipzig are really good at picking their moments when it's time to press high and when to retreat. They get a bit of a sniff, they're trying to press, but as soon as they realize it's not on, they get back into a more compact formation.
It's all about looking for specific triggers, I guess, that you work through on the training grounds. As that ball goes too close to Blasvik. I guess that's it, isn't it? Pressing is not just hurtling at people as soon as they've got the ball. It's about specific situations.
It's about trigger moments. It's about some sort of swarm intelligence. You can't just do it on your own. Everybody has to be on the same page. It's like a chain reaction out there.
As you can see there, Leipzig would move to third in the table. Bayern would be fifth if they lost this game. It's been a really exciting start to the Bundesliga season. Bayer Leverkusen have played some of the best football in the league so far. Borussia Dortmund have not quite hit top gear, but they've been digging out wins. They did that against Hoffenheim in Zinsheim last night. Got to feel there's some potential there. Campbell, lots of space for Forsberg on the left, and he finds him. Raum is trying to get up with him. Forsberg on the move. Diligently defended, although nearly given away. And there is a slightly panicky edge about Bayern in these situations.
Absolutely, and when they just lost the ball and Leipzig was about to break, it took too many players way too long to realize how dangerous the situation was unfolding.
Moving towards the final 5 minutes of this first half. And goals from Luis Openda and Castello have put Leipzig in command. What response can Bayern provide before half-time? Here's Sané, twisting and turning.
Good collective work again. Always sandwiching players. That's a great team effort there.
It's always been one of the hallmarks of that Red Bull style, in inverted commas, that they like to implement across their clubs. Marco Rose had experience of that when he worked with Salzburg, not just as a senior coach. He did very well as a youth coach as well, won the prestigious UEFA Youth League, with Kaiserslautern as more of an attacking playmaker in that team, and he's been repurposed into this midfield warrior these days.
It's hard to imagine.
Yeah, he's doing it very well, but he was a creative part of that team. But not only did Rosa have success at youth level, he then had success at senior level. Managed to get Borussia Mönchengladbach into the Champions League when he was with them, and made the move to Borussia Dortmund, but only lasted a season there. But you get the sense that he's really settled at RB Leipzig. It's a club and a city that means so much to him.
That's fantastic build-up play there. Very composed, good positional play by Leipzig.
Lima. Again, that work rate without the ball, and he's diving around. Waiting for support to arrive. Forsberg. Still a player down. It's Raum who is struggling here. But there's a real clarity about what Leipzig are doing with and without the ball, and it didn't look that way in the opening exchanges. Bayern had their moments, but since the goal, that seems to have really flicked the switch.
Yeah, that's unsettled Bayern, and we see it here in Lima, and I think that's where it shows that he's not a natural fullback. Again, another decision-making error in that position that can be very costly when you get no one behind you.
Joshua Kimmich, always somebody who'll bang the drum, try and get his team moving. Take a look at the ball recovery time so far. Bayern 12.9 seconds on average to win the ball back, but that hasn't done Leipzig any harm. And does that play into the fact that they were quite happy to be quite reactive?
Yeah, they're
in
not
the opening exchange.
Fazed by that at all. That's their game plan. They don't need to win it back right away. They don't want this to become like a game of tennis where it's end-to-end stuff. They are happy to slow their game down at times. It's more important for them to be really compact.
It's down 3 minutes of additional time. And that slipped through, and space here for Openda. Round the goalkeeper, goes down. And it is offside, so it's not going to be a penalty because it is offside. Let's take a look. That is close.
Very, very close.
A yellow card shown to Ulreich, not for anything he did, but I suspect something he said.
But again, how exposed are Bayern in that central area as soon as they lose the ball?
So we talked about this a lot in the Super Cup, Thomas. We talked about Bayern being vulnerable when they lose the ball. And when we talk about rest defence, we talk about what shape a team's in effectively when they lose possession. Is that still a big issue for you then with this Bayern team?
Well, I was a bit unsure going into this game because there have been games where they've been better at it, but tonight the decision-making is terrible. It's the holding midfielders trying to win balls where it might be smarter to back off a little bit. They're playing a very high line. They refuse to drop early, and that's how they concede chance after chance.
Check is over. They were just checking that offside. Of course, if it hadn't been offside, then the penalty would have been given. But again, another sign that Bayern are vulnerable. They did try very hard to get a specialist defensive midfielder. They were very close to signing João Palhinha from Fulham, only for that move to collapse on deadline day. The player actually came to Munich, did some of the PR photos, was ready to make that move, but Fulham couldn't line up a replacement in time and didn't sanction the move. Bayern had a very successful window in some ways, bringing in Harry Kane is a record signing, but Thomas Tuchel has said on several occasions he feels the squad is a little thin in places.
And also when it comes to specialists, He wanted a holding midfielder, someone like Casemiro, a defensive-minded holding midfielder, not a strategic player so much. Also, when we talk about fullbacks, right fullback, it's not ideal how they solve that problem. It's not, to me, it's not good enough for Bayern standards.
Of course, transfers can always have things that go wrong at the end. Here's Lima. Sané opening up on that left foot, and this time gets underneath it. But that's what he's always trying to do, come in on that lethal left foot.
It's great work for him, that little spin there. That's brilliant. And then everybody knows what he's about to do. It still can't stop him. Still gets the shot away. But that's individual stuff. It's not team play from Bayern. It's just one guy that is in form. And that's been it, basically. Bayern have had their moments, but it's not a free-flowing game of football for them.
Bayern have scored in each of the last 32 Bundesliga games. It's a run that goes back to a 1-0 defeat at Augsburg last September. And they had been in great away form in the last few weeks. They've won their last 4 Bundesliga matches away from home. Best run since 2020. They find themselves 2-0 down here. And again, Leipzig snapping into the challenges. Xavi brought down, but no free kick this time. Drawing that contact again, but not enough, says Marco Fritz. And we are into the final one of those 3 additional minutes. Bayern in trouble. Xavi. Openda always offering that threat. Openda.
Oh, to me, that's a foul.
Referee says play on. Home fans don't like it. Sané. It's a little laboured, that, truth be told.
No time for fair play.
Well,
Bayern keep playing.
It's up to the referee to stop it. Bayern have no compulsion to put this out at all. Here's Kimmich. Sané.
Is that the halftime whistle?
I think it is.
Bit confusing.
Openda's still down, and we reach half-time. Well, what a remarkable first half it's been. Goals from Luis Openda and Castello have given Leipzig a 2-0 advantage at the break, and as things stand, they're going to beat Bayern München for the 3rd time in the space of a few months. Half-time, it is RB Leipzig 2, Bayern München 0. Well, Thomas Broich, it's been another really impressive Leipzig display in the sense that in the early exchanges I said to you, we haven't seen much from Leipzig going forward, and you said, well, that's no problem, because this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to draw Bayern onto them, and then bang, they'll hit them. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, they had one scary moment when Harry Kane played a beautiful pass into Musiala, and they needed to call upon their goalkeeper there. You know, when Bayern have the lead, it's very, very tricky. They survived that situation, but after that, their game plan just worked to perfection. They were super compact in midfield. It looked like Bayern didn't create any ideas, looked really uninspired. And on the flip side, as soon as they won the ball, they had runners in behind. They were threatening. They had a good set-piece situation. And I guess they worth the lead.
Well, Leipzig have been terrific at home. They went into this with real confidence, feeling that they could beat Bayern once again. That inferiority complex has well and truly gone. But Bayern, as Thomas Broich says, made the best chance early on. Jamal Musiala, who hasn't scored in the league this season, unable to force the ball past Janis Blasvik. Marco Rosa, a little concerned by that shaky start, but Leipzig grew into the game. This was a scary moment for Sven Ulreich, who got that completely wrong under pressure. Emil Forsberg's effort wide of the target. But that kind of shaky moment would become a regular occurrence for Bayern in the first half, as Marco Rosa's team really started to build momentum, and this was always the danger. Openda in behind, Kim got back to him, but just a little too late as the South Korean's touch took the ball up and over the dive of Sven Ulreich. Openda with his 4th league goal of the season. And that was liftoff for Leipzig. Pender has been a big hit since coming in from Lens in the summer. And Joshua Kimmich and Bayern would find things get even worse because Ulreich made a mess of that. The ball broke to Castello, and the young French defender scored his first Leipzig goal. All a bit ragged from Bayern there. And a sure-footed finish from the centre-back. And a Leipzig lead became a commanding lead thanks to that strike. So half-time, and it is RB Leipzig 2, Bayern München 0.
Musiala makes it 1-1. That young man has got a bright future in front of him. Scored on his debut, scores against second place.
kick that elicited a mistake from a defender. But when you've got a player like Kane in your lineup who can score goals in the blink of an eye, that keeps you in any game, doesn't it?
And it's not just Kane. I mean, there's so many quality players out there. Leroy Sané is in red-hot form. Musiala.
Tell,
yeah, absolutely.
David Raum winding up a long one here. Towards Powelson, who was causing chaos. Smashed away well in the end by Davies under pressure. If you're just joining us, this is the Bundesliga's tactical feed, hence the wide-angle camera. Different way to look at the game. Forward by Henriks. It's one for Openda to chase, but too strong on that occasion.
I really like Openda's runs. He's always looking to blindside the centre-half.
Such a big part of Lens's march into the Champions League positions last season. Lens only finished a point behind Paris Saint-Germain in the French top flight last season. Very different player to Christopher Nkunku, not a direct replacement, but of course somebody who can fill that void in terms of goal scoring. Nkunku was 16 last season in the league. Away by Simakon. Schlager. Goes down, referee says that's okay! And Guerrero strikes just wide. Schlager was hoping for a free kick. It never came.
Good counter press there by Bayern. Way more aggressive. They're actually getting stuck in there. And I'm with the ref on this one. It's too cheap to give a foul.
Close to his first Bayern goal.
The Bayern committing more men in pressing. I like that.
There has been more aggression in this second half. There needed to be. But Leipzig still in front as we tick towards the hour mark. Here is Davies.
But at the same time, it leaves Bayern exposed a little bit more. You see Guerrero's position. He's playing around Harry Kane. And now when you lose the ball in the central area, then Kimmich all of a sudden, he's on his own again, and he has to stop the counter-attack.
Here's Sané. Still going, Sané. Twisting and turning, and a good ball in. Blasvik was struggling. So we can see there the change in the average positions. Bayern maybe a little more compact, but not much higher up.
But look at the midfielders. Second half, you can clearly see it's Kimmich in a number 6 role. In the first half, it was number 8 right next to him. Now number 22, Guerrero, is way higher up the pitch, and that gives Bayern an extra man when they want to press. It gives them an extra man if they want to find players in pockets. It's just more adventurous, but there's a flip side to it.
Can Bayern find a way through? Sané looking for Kane. Pinned his defender well there. Musiala. Kimmich. Pressure on RB Leipzig here. Musiala in a tight space. There was no way to squeeze it through. Raum working hard as he has done all the way through and has won the free kick.
But I like that from Bayern's perspective. Now they're hassling. It's counter press right away. Lima really aggressive. Guerrero added, sandwiching the player. Raum did well there to draw the foul, but there's no time for a breather there for Leipzig right now, and that's when Bayern are really good, when they manage to suffocate opposition teams.
Take a look at the expected goals figures. Bayern with the greater number, but it's worth bearing in mind that the penalty they were given is a big chunk of that. 0.77 XG for a penalty because of the expectation that a striker or another player will score from 11 metres. I can tell you that Leipzig are readying a change here. I think they're going to bring on Nicolas Seivalds for a bit more solidity in midfield, maybe fresh legs. He's very much a tackling machine in the heart of midfield. Made the point when he came in that he was not a straight replacement for Konrad Laimer. And it's Campbell who will go off. It's been a typical Kevin Campbell performance, just putting himself about, working hard, disrupting the opposition. So Nicolas Seivalds, who was brought in from Salzburg in the summer, Austrian international, comes on.
I think that's a big loss, especially in this game for Leipzig, because he's got two sides to his game, Campbell. He's very aggressive against the ball, but also he's good in those tight areas. He's always asking for the ball. He can release pressure. And Seivalds, not so much, I'd say. He's more the guy that works hard against the ball, but in possession, Campbell to me is a little bit more clever.
And more experienced, it has to be
said.
That too. Given the yellow card there for time wasting, means both goalkeepers have picked up a yellow card in this game so far tonight. Bayern's only slip-up in the league this season has been a 2-2 draw at home to Bayer Leverkusen. That came courtesy of a last-gasp penalty for Leverkusen from Ezequiel Palacios. But it was a point, I think you'd have to say, Leverkusen deserved. They played some wonderful football at the Allianz Arena in that game. And that's been the big difference so far this season. Dortmund amassing points, even though they're not playing particularly well. Leverkusen looking really strong. Leipzig have started well. It's not just one threat to Bayern, it's numerous threats. Of course, they've won 11 league titles in a row. Will they be finally dragged off their perch this season? We shall see. Played by Blasvik, and not convincingly.
But it feels a little bit like it's a slow decline. We've had this decade of dominance from Bayern, and everybody knows that last season it wasn't theirs to win, it was Dortmund's to lose. Everybody thought after 10 seasons we'd see a different champion, and they sort of got lucky in a way that Dortmund didn't win at home against Mainz when it was theirs to win the championship. And again now, 6 match days in, we might see Bayern in position 5. It's
remarkable.
Yeah, it is.
Here's Tell, though. Long way to go. Still 25 minutes of normal time, plus stoppage time remaining. Here's Guerrera.
But those are the situations that I meant before. If you win the ball, you can't afford to lose it right away. Otherwise, it's just going to be one-way traffic, and sooner or later, Bayern are going to create chances.
And Leipzig have to show the clarity they showed in that first half. Harry Kane, second in the goal-scoring charts. Just a couple behind Serhou Guirassy. He's been absolutely brilliant for Stuttgart so far this season. Here's Tell. Tell goes for goal and didn't quite get the venom on it that he is capable of. Scored an excellent goal in midweek against Preußen Münster.
He's so good at releasing the ball quickly. I think he tried to pick out a corner. It was a central finish in the end, but you could see what he was trying to do.
He's got 5 goals in 8 competitive appearances this season. Got the winner against Gladbach, got the winner against Manchester United. He doesn't just score goals, he scores big goals. Matthias Tell.
That's better.
Here's Xavi. Didn't get it right this time. What have you made of his performance so far, Thomas? Because time and time again he's been scoring goals, making goals. It's been a different role maybe for him so far tonight.
Yeah, he's been outstanding all season. Not so much tonight. I think he gave away a few cheap balls. He wasn't robust enough to me at times. I think that is a game for him to learn and grow in stature.
Here's Sané. It's in towards Kane. Kane trying to turn. It's loose. Sané with the shot charged down. Davies keeps it alive. Here's Tell. Bayern starting to turn the screw as they look for an equalising goal.
Lovely feat there by Tell.
He is a rising star, no doubt about it. Here's Lima. Sané trying to stretch the pitch. Rafael Guerreiro.
Good doubling up again. And could you hear how almost celebrating?
Yeah, it's been that kind of game from David Raum.
I love this kind of energy. He wins a throw-in and he's celebrating.
Came to the club with a big reputation. He'd been something of an assist machine for Hoffenheim. It hasn't been the case for Leipzig, but he's played in a different way. And has been asked to offer different things to the team. Henrichs with a long chase here. That was very, very calmly done. What a player he's become for Leipzig after a disappointing spell at Monaco. And he's looking for Paulsen. Paulsen putting Upamecano under pressure. And that was excellent centre-forward play by Yusuf Paulsen, what he's all about. Doesn't score in volume, Yusuf Paulsen, but he affects the game. He's won his team a corner. Because they have already scored from a corner kick tonight. Costello in the first half. It'll be David Raum to take it. Costello moving towards the near post. It was away by Kane. He was so strong in the air. Simakon. And now suddenly Bayern can break. Musiala moving through the gears. Space here for Sané. Leroy Sané! That's what he's been doing from the start of the season. And the record champions have found a way back. Leroy Sané with his 5th league goal of the campaign. And we're all square.
What a goal that was. Blistering pace by Bayern. Good clearance there. And again, Xavi, that's what I meant. Don't put the ball back into that danger area. Bayern are about to break. And what about Musiala's speed? What about Leroy Sané's speed? And such a calm and composed finish. But I think the critical mistake was really to just head the ball into that central area. Just go sideways. Try to make sure that Bayern don't get a sniff at a counter-attack. Because when these guys take off, Musiala and Sané, there's no one there to follow, no one there to keep up.
This is 8th goal for club and country this season. He's 5th in the league already. And we're into the final 20 minutes and Bayern are the team with the momentum. Here's Tell. It was an ace free kick that led to the penalty. Caught the arm of Henrichs. Put away by Kane. And now he scores the equaliser. That's going to be a yellow card for Musiala, who suddenly found he was in a very difficult situation and probably needed to do that. Changes here then. We're going to see Christoph Baumgartner, who's an attacking midfielder. And we're also going to see Benjamin Šeško, who scored twice against Wiesbaden in midweek. Forsberg making way for Baumgartner, who came in from Hoffenheim in the summer. Very bright and enterprising player.
I got to tell you, I expected Šeško to start. We've seen a tremendous performance by Paulsen, so it was the right call by Rose. But this guy, he brings a lot to the team as well. He's such a physical presence. He's good in the air, and he's also very, very quick. We just saw the counter-attack when Upamecano managed to shrug Paulsen off. I think Šeško, he would have been away.
Marco Rosa says that Šeško scores goals, and that's important, but there are still a few things we can work on, like his consistency, his ability to be in the game more in general. And they do have real competition for places in attack. Timo Werner's out tonight with a back problem. Away by Kim, but look at that wide open space for Baumgartner to move into. And too high for Šeško, that was the ball. But Baumgartner, newly onto the field, in fairness, got too much on it.
He needs to pick up the tempo to feel the temperature of the game.
Bayern, according to our win probability, now the slight favourites to go on and win it, having come back from 2-0 down, but Leipzig on the front foot.
To me, that's a yellow card.
Well, he's already on one.
Like that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Already on a yellow card, and he's got away with one there, Upamecano. A marginal call that's gone his way, and like a naughty child, he kind of slunk away, trying not to look at the referee. But he might not have many left. And even though Xavi hasn't quite hit the heights of previous games, we did see there the danger he can pose. 29 metres from goal. Will it be an in-swinger from Xavi, or will it be an out-swinger from Raum? It's Raum. And then away by Guerreiro. Didn't know what was behind him. That was neatly done by the Portuguese international. What a game this has been. Bayern digging deep in the second half. Henrik's looking for Schlager. Tell working hard, it's a corner, and Leipzig starting to try and wrestle the momentum back from Bayern. Leipzig looking for what would be a 7th straight win in all competitions and a 7th straight home win in the Bundesliga. Ram to take. Whipped in with pace and a strong header away, but can he make the space? Xavi charged down. And this is where Bayern will look to come alive with all that pace on the counter, but on this occasion it breaks down. Has much changed for you in terms of what Leipzig have done, or is it just that Bayern have found a way to improve? They made that change with Guerreiro. Is it more Bayern improving? Or get your answer on that in a moment. Šeško trying to cause a problem.
Well, I guess it did change the complexion of the game when Guerreiro got brought on. It's a different Bayern mindset. It's more attack-minded. It's a different setup in midfield. That, to me, made a big difference. But also, it feels like players are getting a little bit tired. The game is really opening up. There's so much space there right now.
Ram's throw. Zijveld trying to keep it alive, but he's giving it away to Tell. And that hits Marco Fritz. And the game will have to restart. I think it's best to get out of the way.
Yeah, but in those situations, it feels like the game's on a knife's edge, really. It could go either way. Bayern are breaking, then Leipzig are winning the ball back, and it's so open. It's so chaotic.
Who does that suit, Thomas, of the two teams?
I think in the end it suits Bayern a little bit better because they got more individual quality.
Leipzig were 2-0 up at half-time. They've been pegged back. High-hanging delivery. Ulreich decided to come and get it, and in the end cleared his box. And now Tell. That's primarily played in a wide area for Bayern this season, but he does have that ability to play through the middle. Was linked with a loan move away from the club, but Thomas Tuchel wanted to work with him. Tell wanted to stay, be a part of this Bayern squad. They do rate him very, very highly in Munich. Here is Joshua Kimmich.
I saw him live the other day when they played the cup game in Münster. And what really stood out to me is that, yeah, he's gifted on the ball. We all know that he scores goals, but when he loses the ball, his immediate reaction, even against a third-tier team, he was so eager to win it back. He did not lose. He did not blink. He was straight back in the action, tracking back, winning the ball back, or at least trying to win the ball back.
Sounds twee, but by all accounts he's a lovely kid as well, which I think does make a difference. He's been very respectful and very collegiate, and I think all of those things do help a young player make a bit of an impact. course, you've got to back it up with performances as well. Here's one for Sheshko to chase. There aren't many people who can beat Alphonso Davies in foot race. And as it turned out, Davies wins again. It's up for grabs. Who can go on and snatch a winner? Captivating game here on the Bundesliga tactical feed. If you're wondering why we have the wide-angle camera, it's a different way to watch the game. As we see these tactical shifts in the match. Here is Tell. Made Bayern's opening game in Münster with a brilliant piece of wing play. Feint and then a super cross to the far post. Here's Guerrero. Tell. It's good hustling and harrying. They've worked really hard without the ball.
But that's
tonight.
exactly what I meant. Did you see? Tell lost the ball and he was right at it. Won it back right away.
It's a real skill, a real quality to have. Guerrero's delivery away by Simakon. Calmly done by Xavi.
And I can tell you from experience, a lot of the times coaches leave young players out because they're lacking that skill.
Plenty queuing up here. Lima couldn't quite deliver the cross. Bayern growing in threat and growing in confidence as we move into the final 11 minutes here. Is it set? Bayern star striker Harry Kane to have a say. If he does score, he will equal Erling Haaland's Bundesliga record. Haaland scored 9 goals in his first 6 Bundesliga games. Nobody's ever scored more. As we see Xavi's impact on Leipzig's early season, 3 goals and 4 assists already. Bit of space opening up for Guerrero, he's looking for Kane. And Zane, only Kane has outscored him in the Bundesliga so far this season. He has been terrific, and he has that natural speed and quality. Tell with the foul this time. And the yellow card is shown to Matthias Tell. And again, it's Schlager working hard. He's been absolutely everywhere, hasn't he, tonight, Salva Schlager?
Yeah, like always. He's so tireless. He leaves everything out there on the pitch.
To score the occasional goal, got one in the win at Young Boys in the Champions League, as we see Bayern primarily attacking down the flanks tonight. Sané, of course, down that right-hand side, a constant threat, 42% of their attacks down that right flank. And that ball just a bit too hot for Openda. But he's had the pace and the will to go and win it. And he's done